We truly are in the end times of humanity. It seems like as the years go by, society continues in this downward spiral. Year after year, we see the human race continue to get worse and worse. Gen Z has proved time and time again to be the worst, dumbest, and most incompetent generation to ever exist. Me being born in this generation, I have firsthand knowledge and experience of this. I had to live through and grow up in this disappointment of a generation. I always thought to myself that this has to be rock bottom. This has to be as bad as it can get. There's no way society can ever get worse than this. That was until the creation of Gen Alpha. It's disturbing when you think about how Gen Alpha is pretty much a clone copy of Gen Z, only 10 times worse and 10 times more annoying. So first I want to talk about how pretty much all these kids in Gen Alpha are practically born with an iPad in their hand. And I know it's ironic coming from someone who was literally born in Gen Z, and of course we all know Gen Z is notorious for being chronically online, but I mean, at least we used to go outside. I remember the days of being a little kid and playing sports, playing tag, and even sometimes just playing in the dirt. Kids used to actually be kids and do kid things back then. Nowadays, the only things kids know how to do is pull up YouTube and binge watch Cocomelon. How often do you see some kid walking in the store and they're just sitting there tapping their screen with those dirty ass hands? My own siblings are guilty of this. I have a little sister and I swear every time I go in her room, all I hear is her laughing while some demonic ass Cocomelon song plays in the background. Gen Alpha's technology addiction is so bad, you could say they're basically raised by their technology. The more and more I think about it, the more I realize how technology addiction is going to ruin Gen Alpha in the long run. These kids nowadays are going to grow up scrolling through brain dead TikToks and YouTube shorts. Just imagine how stupid these kids are going to be in just the next few years. Gen Z's stupidity broke records that I think most of us thought would never be broken, but Gen Alpha is going to give us a run for our money. Gen Alpha kids are going to deadass graduate high school with the reading level of a 3rd grader. But speaking of Gen Alpha's technology addiction, that also leads me to my next point: Gen Alpha's record low attention span. I think it comes as no shocker that Gen Alpha has the attention span of a literal peanut. These little niggas can't stay focused for more than 15 seconds at a time. It's borderline impossible for them to be able to watch a video longer than 10 seconds. And can you really even blame them? With the type of content that's on the internet nowadays, the content that Gen Alpha is going to grow up watching is the most ADHD overstimulating content the internet has ever seen. I remember growing up, we watched actual normal videos and gameplays. I remember watching 30-minute long Minecraft Let's Plays as a kid. You know, back in the day when there was only one video playing on the screen, now when you watch a video, there's like 5 other videos playing in the background that have nothing to do with the original video. It's impossible for them to watch a video if there's not a sped up GTA 5 stunt car gameplay in the background with the biggest subtitles you've ever seen and another video on top of it. Like, really think about it. If you were to go to any short form content platform, TikTok, Instagram, or even YouTube, and you scroll for at least a minute, you're guaranteed to come across one of these types of videos. Like, what type of method is this, and who the fuck created it? And even I have to admit that I've fallen victim to these copious ass videos. There are times I'll watch one of these videos and just start staring at the little gameplays at the bottom. As much as I hate to admit it, those little Subway Surfer gameplays be interesting as hell. Whoever created this style of content has completely cooked the human attention span. You have single-handedly started the collapse and demise of the human race. It's because of you I have to spam my video with a million clips and images, just so these little niggas don't get bored and click off my video. But then also what comes with the social media addicted generation is a lack of social skills and the creation of parasocial relationships. I think it's starting to become obvious as time passes that people in society as a whole are starting to become more and more socially awkward. Because of the ridiculous amount of entertainment kids can get just from a computer screen, there's no really a need for them to go out and talk to people anymore. If they really want to, they can just stay inside and binge watch Pokemon streams all day. But there's one major and huge downside to this, and that's that over time these kids start to develop these super weird parasocial relationships with people they don't even know and will never meet. When you spend all day on social media and never actually go outside, it starts to feel as if the people you watch through the screen are your friends. Outside of maybe your parents and your siblings, they're pretty much the only people you even see throughout the day. And this is something that I've recently started noticing is happening with a lot of the youth in the next generation. I mean, let's just look at Dream's mentally unstable fan base for a second. Most of his fans are delusional 12-year-olds who think Dream is like their online father or some shit. I mean, the way they talk about the guy, you would have thought they actually knew the guy in real life. It's almost disgusting to think how the kids in Gen Alpha prefer to have fake virtual friends rather than actually have real friends who they can actually talk to in real life. Next, I'm going to talk about their lingo or slang. Bro, Gen Alpha is some of the most confusing, just overall dumbass slang I've ever heard. And it makes sense when you think about how most, if not all of their slang comes from either Twitch or TikTok. That alone should let you know how absolutely terrible Gen Alpha's vocabulary is gonna be. And I want you guys to realize how it's the same few platforms that are the root cause of all of this shit. The vast majority of Gen Alpha slang is them just taking random words and completely changing the meaning of it. One of the terms I want to talk about is the Phantom Tax. Now, the Phantom Tax was created by a streamer named Phantom. It's pretty much where he just goes and steals people's food, which I can't even lie, is kind of funny. It was originally just a meme that he would use on stream. meme. And of course these little ass kids took this meme and turned it into the corniest thing ever. It basically had like the same effect as Riz, where people took the slang and just started abusing the shit. And then there's another slang called skibbity. Now I think this slang originated from another term called skibbity toilet, but to keep it real, I have absolutely zero clue what the fuck this word is supposed to mean. As far as I'm concerned, it's some goofy ass word that some cringe ass Roblox kids made up. And then you got gap. This is pretty much what you say when you see someone with a fat ass. As a matter of fact, the other day, I was walking through the store with my little cousin when we all of a sudden walked past this lady. Now I can't even lie, this lady had some cakes on her, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a BBL. But of course this cornball comes out of nowhere and literally yells, "Yeah!" Let's just say, I ain't taking that little nigga anywhere with me anytime soon. Now this is the epitome of Twitch chat Riz. If you ever hear someone say shit like this in real life, there's a good chance they're a no-life Cosnat viewer. Finally, we got what might be the worst of them all. Sigma. Sigma is a slang used to describe a Chad or a Chad-like activity. For example, if you've ever seen one of those TikToks where a guy rejects a female, if you scroll the comments more than 3 seconds, you'll see some version like, "Oh my gosh, bro, this is so Sigma for real." Now, as if these words alone weren't corny and cringe enough, of course someone had to go and make a whole song using all of them. And if you're someone who has used TikTok in the last 2 weeks, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sticking out your gap for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity. You're so phantom tax.
Bro, like what the fuck am I listening to? Who created this bullshit? Really just think about how a whole generation of kids are about to be running around and actually saying this shit. Next I want to talk about probably the worst part about Gen Alpha, and probably the main reason why I feel Gen Alpha is gonna be a doomed generation. And that's the fact this is easily the lowest IQ and just overall dumbest generation yet. You'd be surprised how kids nowadays struggle to even do the simplest of things. And I don't want to sit up here and make it sound like I'm just some Einstein ass nigga. Hell, a nigga like me only made it this far in school thanks to nobody other than the power of God himself and Brainly. I thank God for the creation of the internet, because otherwise I wouldn't know what the hell to do with myself. But I mean it when I say Gen Alpha kids are on a different level of flat out stupidity. I mean, we have middle schoolers who deadass struggle with basic multiplication, and it makes sense. We live in an era where people in general could care less about school. We live in an era that I like to call the social media influencer era, an era where everybody wants to be a YouTuber, a streamer, or worst of all, a TikToker. We live in a time in society where you can literally make a living off of doing nothing but creating content. Fuck, I look like going to school for 30 years just to get a PhD when I could get TikTok famous and get rich off of brand deals. I mean, it seems like every week a new nigga becomes rich and famous on that app for the dumbest of shit. But it's this type of thinking and this type of trend that's causing Gen Alpha to be so goddamn stupid. Not to mention nobody nowadays actually studies or does research anymore. I mean, cheating on the internet is as easy as it's ever been. Of course, niggas aren't gonna actually try in school. So when you combine mediocre teachers with the whole generation of kids that lack the attention span to learn and the want to learn, the only product you get is the dumbest generation of humans yet. Overall, I really don't see any bright spot with this new generation of kids. Now, obviously, most of the kids in Gen Alpha are still pretty young. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of them aren't even 10 years old yet. So luckily, there is still some time for Gen Alpha to make a fourth quarter comeback. Is it likely though? Probably not. But that's about all I got for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and yeah, that's about it.